Hello. Today we're going to be talking about Jane Austen, which is a first for me. Jane Austen isn't exactly my cup of tea, but I was assigned this book for class and I had to read it, so we're going to talk about it. And that book is Jane Austen's lost masterpiece, Lady Susan. Dun dun dun. So, Lady Susan is an epistolatory, whatever, novel, which means that it all takes place in letters, written back and forth from person to person. Like so. So it'll say like, letter 11, Mrs. Vernon to Lady de Courcy, from Churchill, and then so on. So all the action is off screen, really. You're just getting these letters back and forth, which is an interesting format, I guess, I suppose, and can be done well. I don't necessarily like letters so much. Sometimes when novels are written in that same kind of format, but it's journal entries, uh, I tend to like better. Um, but anyway, sometimes it can be kind of hard to follow who's talking to who because their titles will kind of change depending on who is talking to who, what they call the other person, or how they address the letter. Um, all in all, though, not bad. Not a bad novel, actually. It's short, which probably helped. Um, kind of interesting. Lady Susan is sort of ahead of her time, but at the same time, not necessarily a hero or someone to look up to. She is assertive. Essentially, she's a widow. She's roaming around, and she has a reputation for being very uncouth, flirting with the man, drawing people's husbands away. Um, she has a daughter who people say she's very cold towards and seems like doesn't care about and would rather just have out of her way. Um, and that's true. She does have a daughter, and she does feel that way. She openly states that her daughter's an idiot in her letters to her friend. Um, and she ends up going and staying at her brother-in-law's house. And so Lady Susan is staying with Mr. Vernon and his wife, and the wife doesn't like Lady Susan because when back in the day, Lady Susan tried to stop her brother-in-law from marrying Mrs. Vernon. And so anyway, through stuff, Lady Susan tries to manipulate people and woo Mrs. Vernon's brother while also putting her daughter in a school. The daughter escapes, and then, it's a drama. But what's interesting is that Lady Susan takes charge, is in control, essentially, of her life. She does what she wants to do. She's smart. She knows it. She knows that she has great power in her ability to talk and convince people to do things. So it's kind of interesting in that way that she is sort of this, rebel and doesn't really follow the norm that you would associate with that time period. In the end, though, she is a villain. She's terrible to her daughter, and isn't very likable when you read her stuff to the other people. She has very few redeeming qualities, other than she was a little bit different and a rebel. Not a bad book. It's very short, so it's hard to analyze. Not hard. I mean, I didn't care too much for it, so I didn't put that much thought into what was going on here. But if you're into, this sort of stuff, or if you're a Jane Austen fan, this is probably a lesser-known work that was published after her death, but apparently she worked on for a very long time, so maybe this is like a little hidden gem. So yeah, I know that's not a glowing endorsement, but that's the best it's going to get from me. Meh. It was okay.